Ladies and gentlemen, I am Yuri Bender, editor of Professional Wealth Management magazine. I would like to welcome you to this video discussion about the future of multi-family offices and the threat they pose to traditional private banks. There are reports of the multi-family and private investment office market growing as a significant beneficiary of the crisis. Indeed, figures from Scorpio Partnership show that 1/3 of private banking clients in Europe with assets of more than 40 million euros now have relationships with a multi-family office. Is this a major trend? And will these offices introduce a totally new dynamic to the wealth management market? In the studio today, to discuss this topic, I have with me Adam Wethered, co-founder of private investment office Lord North Street, which manages assets for a select number of wealthy families. Hello, Adam.
Hello.
Now, Adam, what is the problem for wealthy clients of the large banks who seem to be moving their custom to private investment offices such as yours and multifamily offices? They seem to be looking for new wealth managers because they're dissatisfied with the service that they've had from the larger banks.
Well, first of all, as we know, it's a turbulent world for investors generally. And secondly, there's much more choice. Investment instruments, much more international investment. And what they're fundamentally looking for, investors, particularly private ones, is someone who sits entirely on their side of the table. So alignment of interest, someone who is looking out solely for them and helping them buy the right things, choose the right asset classes, not someone who's trying to sell them something first and foremost. So I think that's really the key to it.
And do you speak from experience here, Adam? You're something of a poacher turned gamekeeper, former senior manager at JP Morgan, I believe. Do you feel that in those banks the main object was just to stuff the clients' for portfolios full of as many products as possible?
Well, first of all, I think JP Morgan is a fine institution. Secondly, there are lots of very good people working in banks trying to do a good job. But at the end of the day, banks generally have investment management divisions and they're trying to sell their products first. There are some that have embraced so-called open architecture where they do not have products and they're looking, as we do, out for products in the market as a whole. But generally, private bankers are paid to sell their bank's products first.
But if you're working with one of these banks and you're sourcing the products from banks, are you not adding an extra layer of costs here?
Well, that's a fair question, and the answer is we're getting institutional pricing on behalf of our clients. We have bulk buying power from a lot of very wealthy families and institutions, and the answer therefore is that we're able to grind down the cost. Now, a billionaire family could do the same thing, but if you are a family with $100 million, for example, when you break it all down and you're looking at different asset strategies, different investment strategies, you haven't got that much that you're putting into different portfolios. If you aggregate that across a number of families, then you can get institutional pricing. So in many cases, we're able to save money, or at least save the amount of our fees. And we care, of course, as the client does, about the bottom line. So if a manager's expensive, he better be worth it. And all of the costs need to be made transparent. And we do that for clients. Clients need to know what value they're giving and getting. And that isn't always very clear when you're dealing with a private bank. It can be opaque.
And if the assets of a number of families are aggregated, as you mentioned, is there a danger that one of the families is perhaps dominating the agenda and you're managing assets in the style that a particularly powerful family wants you to manage them?
I think it can be an issue if a family office or private investment office has a dominant shareholder that is a family with a dominant kind of strategy and approach. You wouldn't expect when you walk into a law firm to have the law firm owned by a family who dominates its business. So we think it's healthy, and in our case it's true, to have no dominant family that is a client and owns a stake in the business. We have no owners who are clients.
And what about the kind of balance sheet backing which the large banks can provide in terms of safety and security, the likes of JP Morgan, UBS and Citibank? Is that a reality, or is that a psychological comfort factor for clients?
The proposition that a private investment office offers, whether it's an in-house chief executive of a very wealthy billionaire family or a multi-family office service, is broadly the same, choosing the right asset classes and managers. In any event, you need a global custodian, and even a small private bank is going to use a big global custodian because of the costs involved. So the global custodian needs to be a business that can cover the globe and spend the technology money on those investments. Separately, if you need a loan, then you go directly to a bank. If you need a checking account or currency in a hurry, you go to a bank. But all of those things can be arranged through a private investment office. The key, though, is that when you've got very large amounts of long-term money that needs to be invested across the globe and across many asset classes, you want someone who is aligned with the family, making the right choices about the big decisions, which asset classes, and then finding the best of breed for each asset class and each strategy within the asset classes.
And the private banks have always claimed that they have the best investment expertise, but now clearly there's this new breed of investment gurus and leaders coming through, the likes of your officers. Are they taking this threat line down, or are they actually doing something about it?
Well, they want to provide the kind of services we're providing. In many cases, they are providing a family office service, so they're trying to provide a service to firms like ours. But in fact, what we find is that we need to go directly to the investment managers, which may sit on the investment management division side of a big entity, but in many cases are very small teams that have left well-known names and set up and have very particular strategies. And you don't need to be a big organization. For example, there are many well-known names out there who hire in a particular person or small team of 4 who are actually independent in order to provide the service. So the key is to go and find the right pearls of wisdom wherever they lurk.
And the future of wealth management, Adam, means that big is no longer beautiful.
The future is that there is choice everywhere, as we know, in every walk of life, and particularly in investment. And investment is about taking risk and understanding very well the risk you're taking, how it fits in the overall, what you're paying for the advice and for the management, and really be discerning and able to add it all up. And at the end of the day, then you're in a position to feel in control, but not feel worried about it. It's our job to take the burden and be worrying about what's happening overnight and over the weekend, and make sure that the assets are well diversified and they're tracked by the global custodian. So people want choice, they want solidity, they want respectability, and they want transparency and alignment of interest.
Adam Wethered, thank you very much.
Thank you.